Hello there and welcome to my channel. This is a quick tarot lesson all about the sword cards. I'll be teaching you using my own interpretations of the card, how I read the sword cards as my interpretations of the swords, which is the element of air. The sword cards are connected to the star signs Aquarius, Libra and Gemini, the air signs of the zodiac. Recently I did upload a short little tarot course on the major arcanas, the cup cards and the wand cards, and I was going to do the swords and the pentacles, but then my daughter came to stay with me temporary because she hasn't been too well, so I've been helping her and helping to look after my grandson. So I'm talking quietly because they're asleep in the next room. I don't want to wake them up. So here is the swords tarot lesson. To find all these lessons, all you have to do is go into my playlist, and there is a playlist called Helpful Videos. Click on that and you'll see all the different elements, all the different suits and all different lessons that I have. There's going to be loads of freebies in there. I have tons of free, helpful, interesting little mini courses, meditations, and a bit of everything. So in my playlist, just look for the playlist called Helpful Videos and you'll find this particular course as well as all the other tarot courses that are free for you to watch anytime you like. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Okay, so again, this is my interpretations of the cards. It's how I read the tarot. Every reader reads cards slightly differently. So first off, we'll look at the Ace of Swords. All aces are brand new beginnings. Aces represent brand new beginnings. For me, the Ace of Swords is a card all about truth and clarity. It's gaining wisdom. It's having that great truth. If you've been trying to seek the truth or looking for either it's your truth or knowing if someone's going to speak their truth, again, this card is a big indication that you can expect this truth to come to light soon. It's also, like I say, a card all about clarity, inspiration, seeing things clearly, brand new beginnings. And I just love this card. I love the Ace of Swords. It's such a powerful card. All the aces are such powerful, prominent energies. It's also the biggest yes card. Out of all the tarot cards, the Ace of Swords is a yes card. So if you're asking any question in the tarot and you pull the Ace of Swords, this is a big doubly, doubly yes, 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 yes. And again, it is, like I say, communication, truth, clarity. Again, yeah, communication, that's a big one with the Ace of Swords. And it's just seeing the truth. Also, it's a sword of cutting things out that doesn't serve you, getting rid of what no longer serves you, what's holding you back, so that you can have a brand new beginning. So it's a very positive card. You can see we have these little message cards. It's also, yeah, about brilliant ideas, overcoming obstacles, and having faith that everything will work out. Communication and communicating clearly. I don't usually read aces in reverse because they're so positive, but sometimes in rare occasions I do. My intuition tells me to read an ace card in the reverse, and I will do. The ace in reverse could just mean that there's delays in having your new beginning. Communication could be a bit stifled at this time. Perhaps you're waiting to find the truth on a matter, to have clarity and truth, and this just seems to be out of reach. Could seem that things seem very confusing at this time and you just can't reach that clarity that you're looking for, or someone may not be opening up. Someone could be lying and not telling you the truth, but because it's an ace, this energy wouldn't last for long. You'll soon come out of that energy. Aces are so positive. It's almost like a minor energy. When it's in the reverse, it's not so extreme as the other cards when they come in reverse. Yeah. So the Ace of Swords can mean, when it comes in reverse, that communication is blocked. There's minor delays in you reaching your full potential, reaching your goals, having a new beginning. Could be that you have lack of clarity at this time. It could also mean, yes, the answer is still yes, but it may just be delays. I always see the aces in reverse as delays. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is all about, again, this is how I interpret the cards. It's all about trying to make a choice or decision and either choosing not to make a decision at this time, because in most decks, they predict the woman, like in that first card, who's crossing the swords across her chest and her arms, which is representing that she's refusing to take action. She's refusing to make a choice or a decision. She's choosing to cross those swords across her arms. So this could be someone who has an important decision, or you may have an important decision or choice that you know has to be made, but you could be choosing not to make this choice or this decision yet. Perhaps you're too much in your emotions about it. Perhaps there's still a lot of things that you need to consider and think about before actually making a final choice or decision. For others, this could even be, it depends on the reading that you're doing. This could be representing that it's hard for you to see clearly at this time as to how to move forward in a certain situation within your life. It could be that you want to move forward, you know there's an important decision or choice that has to be made, but you just can't see the wood for the trees, you can't see clearly, you don't know how to move forward, and so you're almost in inaction. You're not taking any action steps, you're not making a final decision until you get more clarity, until you can see things clearly. So it can work either way. Either you're deliberately not making a choice or decision, or you're in inaction at this time. This could even be that you have important choices to make, and it could be procrastinating. It's the perfect card for procrastination and just not taking action or making a final decision on anything at this time. When the Two of Swords comes in reverse, this is a very good energy. The sword cards in reverse is always the opposite. This is how I read tarot, the opposite of the upright. So this would suggest that you're finally ready to make a decision. You're finally ready to uncross those swords from your chest. You see clearly, you have the clarity, the answers that you seek, and now you feel confident enough to finally make that important choice or decision that you know needs to be made. If you've been stuck in your life and you're not sure which path you wanted to go down, from this coming in reverse, this is finally saying, yes, you now see which path you want to take in life, which job you want to take, which important choice or decision you want to make. So it has the complete opposite effect of the upright. Also, you must, what I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video, it's so important to always read all the cards as a whole. When you're doing a reading for a person, you don't just read each card as an individual. You look at the surrounding cards, because you can get a lot more of the story from doing that. It can even change the whole meaning of the card from the surrounding cards. And also trust what your intuition tells you, your gut feelings, what you sense, you touch, you taste, you smell, anything that comes to you, trust that you use all your senses, your intuition, and the surrounding cards, as well as picking up on the person that your reading's for energy. So you trust all of that to do a reading. So every reading will be different. It all depends on the person you're reading for and the cards that come out. So the Two of Swords is basically coming out of that fog, coming out of the confusion, finally seeing things clearly, finally being ready to take those action steps to make a final choice, a final decision on whatever it is in your life, and feeling clear, not feeling like you can't see the wood for the tree. It's a good energy. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Three of Swords. This is a card all about heartbreak, sorrow, remorse, grief. The biggest card for heartbreak. When you get the Three of Swords, you know a person's going through intense heartache and heartbreak. Whether this is through a relationship, usually it is a relationship, but it can be grief, the loss of a loved one through death. They could be grieving the loss. It could just be a breakup of a marriage, a breakup of a relationship, an ending of a friendship, going through a very painful and traumatic, difficult time in their life. It's a card all about deep, deep sorrow, remorse, grief, loss, sadness, and heartbreak. Heartbreak is the key for this. It's also a third party card. So when this card comes up in a reading, there's a high chance the person you're reading for could be in a third party situation. It doesn't always have to be in a third party, doesn't always have to be another person. That's very important. A third party could be another partner, another person in the relationship that's affecting the relationship, or a third party could be a job, for example. You could have a person who's working 24/7, and so they're neglecting their family, they're neglecting their home life, and this is actually causing a huge impact, a negative impact on the connection. So that would be classed as a third party. A third party could be interfering neighbors, interfering friends and family members who are trying to interfere in your connections, interfere in your relationships. They would be classed as a third party. If your partner is, for example, a main carer for a family member or a friend, and they're looking after that person because that person could be ill or have dementia, or something like that, and so it causes a negative effect on the connection because they can't invest in much of their time within the connection, then this is classed as a third party. So this is a third party card as well. So it's a card of heartbreak, sorrow, grief, remorse, loss, sadness, and it's a card of intense pain, but also third parties and deceit. This card can also represent just secrets, lies, cheating. It has quite a lot of meanings. Again, it's so important to look at the surrounding cards when doing a reading, because that could change the whole meaning of this card, and that can also help you to get a better understanding as to why this particular card is coming up in that particular reading that you're doing for a specific person. So you look at the surrounding cards. This will just help to give you a much bigger picture of what's actually going on. Doing psychic readings is like being a detective. You're really delving deep and you're unpicking the story to find out what's going on. You get deep down, unpicking the cards to find the root of the story. There was another point I wanted to make. My mind's gone blank. Oh, yes, I remember now. If you do get Three of Cups with the Three of Swords, this is usually a big high indication that it is actually a third party situation that you'll be dealing with, or that the reader, the person you're reading for, is dealing with. So Three of Cups coming together in a spread with the Three of Swords is usually a 99% chance of a third party. Though again, it doesn't always have to be. That's why it's so important to trust the energy, trust your intuition, and see what the surrounding cards say. But basically, the main thing for the Three of Swords is heartbreak, breakup, separation, third party, sadness. So it's not a very nice energy. I usually don't like it when this card pops up in a reading. Okay, so now we'll look at the Three of Swords in the reverse. The Three of Swords in the reverse is the complete opposite of the upright. So this would mean that if you were in a third-party situation, or if there is a third-party situation, you would be coming out of it. There'll be no more third parties. Either a choice would have been made. Perhaps one of the parties has chosen another party, or you've decided to walk away from the third party. It could also be that if there was, like, for example, a job that was consuming your energy, your time, and affecting your relationships, then perhaps you would have rectified this in one way or the other, either leaving the job or changing your working hours. If there have been people meddling within your relationship and your connections, that would be resolved and sorted out. So whatever the third party influence was, it's now been resolved, or it's going to be resolved in the near future, and you'll come out of that energy. For those of you who have been through heartbreak and trauma and sadness, this is a card that will represent that that you'll be coming out of it. I'm saying you, but it's just for the ease of describing the card, or the person you're reading for. If you're reading for someone, it would say that they're coming out of that heartbreak, which is a very positive thing. This card would represent that the person that you're reading for, or you, that they have gone through a deep healing. They've done all the inner healing work. They're finally getting back on their feet. They're coming out of heartbreak. If they have been going through traumatic time in their life, if they've been dealing with a lot, then they're finally coming out of that. The sun's going to shine again, and things are going to start getting better. They are going through a profound healing, and they're near the end of that healing journey now, and they should start to feel happier in themselves, better in themselves, and finally at that point where they can move on and rebuild their life, make new relationships, build new connections, and just be in a healthy place emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and in every sense of the word. So in the reverse position, the Three of Swords is a very, very positive card. It again is the complete opposite of the Three of Swords in the upright. Yeah. Okay, so we'll now look at the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card all about healing. It's rejuvenation, it's healing, it's getting yourself in a good, healthy place again, having that time out to heal, to rest, to rejuvenate, to recharge your batteries. This card comes up in a reading. It usually would predict that a person has been through a lot in their life. They could have either been dealing with a lot of personal situations. They could have been overworking, overstressed, or whatever it is. But this is a time for them to have that time out. It's time out period. A time to rest. A time to almost go into hermit stage, to lock yourself away from the world. Have that time to heal. Have that time to rest and rejuvenate. It is a very healing card. If the person you're reading for has been struggling with ongoing health conditions, this card would usually appear, saying that this person is struggling from health conditions and they're needing this time to heal and rest. Someone who's overworking, and not taking that time out, this card would come up to represent, or to say to the person, you need to take some time out, you need to rest. It's also a card of stagnation, things not moving forward, things being really slow and stagnant, but it's for an important reason. It's because this is a time of limbo, and usually during a time of limbo, that's when the most is happening behind the scenes. It's almost like if you think of the spring and the winter. When you're in the winter, everything looks dead and barren. That's almost like the time where bears go and they hibernate. We go into hibernation mode, which is the Four of Swords mode. Everything seems dead and barren, and then you come the spring and new life flourishes, new life comes about. And what we don't realize is the whole time that we're in this winter stage where everything looks dead, it looks barren, we're having to hibernate and go within, it's in that time that there's a lot of growth happening. If you think beneath the soil, these roots are still there, there's plants, there's growing, they're preparing for the spring. There's a lot happening that we don't see on the surface. It just, everything looks dead and barren and cold and wintry. But underneath, there's a lot happening under the ground. These roots and things are growing, and when the spring comes, it's suddenly ready to all sprout and come to life. And this is the same thing. It could be that, for example, you're in a relationship and things seem really stagnant at this time. You think things are never moving forward. It's stagnant. But what they're not seeing, what the client is not seeing, is that deep beneath the surface, what's hidden is that there's actually a lot going on. It could be that this time of limbo is needed in order for them and their person, their partner, to do their own inner healing work, their own soul journey work. And perhaps if the two of them are together and they're not going through a separation, neither of them would get that healing work done that really needs to be done. So it's almost like things have to be on a standstill, have to be stagnant. There has to be a separation so that both parties can go off, do their own inner healing work, and then they can come back together when they've done that work, and they can build a stronger, more healthy bond and connection. That's just an example of the Four of Swords. Or it could be a business and you feel like the business is stagnant. You could have your clients saying, my business, I've been ploughing and ploughing and ploughing work into this business. I'm working my socks off and it's just not growing. It just seems stagnant. Nothing's moving forward. But what's actually happening is things are moving forward. Perhaps your client just needs some time out. Maybe they've been overdoing it. They need to take a break. And when they come back, their business will suddenly flourish. They'll have new inspiration from taking that time out. They see things in a new light. So the Four of Swords is a card all about rest, recuperation, healing. Usually comes up if there is someone who's struggling with health conditions. This could be telling someone they need to take better care of themselves and have that rest. This could be a card for if someone's overworking and doing too much, taking on too much, whether it's work, whether it's responsibilities. They need to take some time out and have a rest. It's also a card of stagnation, possibly separation, just things being a bit of a standstill, but it's all necessary. It's all for growth and it's all for a reason. Okay, so we'll now look at the Four of Swords in reverse. Again, this would be the complete opposite of the Four of Swords in the upright. This would mean that, yes, finally, the person you've read for, they've done that inner healing work. They've taken time out to rest, to heal, to sort themselves out. They had their hermit stage, and now they feel rejuvenated. They feel refreshed, and they feel ready to move forward in whatever it is. If it's a relationship, and there's been a separation or just a standstill within the relationship, things have been stagnant, then this is a good sign that things are going to finally start moving forward now. Both people have done their inner healing work and now they can start rebuilding a stronger connection. If someone's been overworking, it's now that they've come out of that time of rest. They would have overworked, they would have taken time out to rest, and now they feel rejuvenated, they're ready to go back to work, and they'll be full of passion and inspiration again. If someone's been dealing with ongoing health conditions, this card coming in reverse would say, yes, those health conditions are now finally easing. The person you're reading for is going to feel so much better within themselves. Those health conditions are going to fade. They're going to get healed. And they're going to finally start feeling so much better within themselves. So it literally does have the complete opposite of the Four of Swords in the upright. It's got the complete opposite meaning. So it's all positive. It's forward movement, coming out of stagnation, having done the healing work, having had that rest, feeling rejuvenated, feeling replenished, and just feeling ready to take on the world, ready to move forward, and feeling healthy and good within. We'll now look at the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is, I see this as two different ways. But again, it's like depending on the person you're reading for and the energies. I've always read, it's just me because this is my personal interpretations of the tarot. And I've always read the Five of Swords in two separate ways. One way is that there's a lot of strife, a lot of drama, a lot of upsets, too many cooks spoil the broth, too many people getting involved in a situation and just causes havoc. It causes upset and an uproar. No one's working together, no one's collaborating together. It could be a work situation and everyone's trying to do their own thing, no one's working together, and it just comes a big flop. Nothing gets done because no one can work together. Nothing gets done. It's a card of angriness, arguing, feeling like you're in a battle, having strife, trying to make important decisions, having to take gambles and not sure whether that gamble's going to pay off, but just feeling like everything's up in the air. It's like you're going through a battle. You could be arguing with friends and family, and like I say, everyone trying to do their own thing. There's no cooperation. Nothing's getting done. And it's just a battle. That's the one way I always read the Five of Swords. Another way which I always read the Five of Swords, like again, it depends on the person I'm reading for and what my intuition tells me and the surrounding cards. But another way that I read the Five of Swords is it's the end of a battle. It's the end of the strife. And finally, you're standing tall. And you're feeling good, you feel like you've won this battle, you can finally walk away from it. It's the end of that drama and that strife. And I know that would come in the upright position, the reverse position, but for some reason, depending on the reading, that does come through to me quite often with the Five of Swords in the upright position. I do get that overcoming a battle. But this could also be a card of no one winning a battle. Everyone's fighting that nothing gets done, nothing gets sorted out. And so no one wins in the end. So it could go either way. Either you win a battle and you finally feel strong enough, you feel good, I've won this battle, the battle's over, the battle's done. Or it could be that because no one's collaborating together, no one's working together, nothing gets done properly, and so in the end, no one wins. No one wins the argument, no one wins the project they're trying to work on, nothing gets done, so it's a missed opportunity. So now look at the Five of Swords in the reverse. Well, the Five of Swords in the reverse would mean that the battle has been won. I say the battle, that could be whatever the person is dealing with at that time. And it's finally over. It's finally over. There's no more bickering. There's no more drama. People are finally working together as a team. People are finally collaborating together and working really well. All drama and strife and fighting and arguing and issues is being sorted out and resolved. And finally, life has a sense of peace and normality again. So this would mean that the person you're reading for is finally coming out of strife and drama. This could be like trauma in their life. It doesn't have to be involving fighting and arguing and drama. It could just be going through a really tough time in their life. And this would represent that they're finally coming out of that. Life's going to start feeling good again. They're going to start feeling a lot more happy, excuse me, and a lot less stressed. And this is also a card in the reverse of taking a gamble and making the right choices, making the right decision. That gamble pays off. So in the reverse, I'm saying upright, it's supposed to be reverse. In the reverse position, this has a very positive meaning. It's the complete opposite of the Five of Swords in the upright. It is a time of coming out of conflict, coming out of drama, people finally working together, getting the job done, and everyone's happy and peace is resolved to the situation or the person you're reading for, to their life. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords, I like this card. It's a nice card. It's all about moving to calmer waters, leaving trouble behind, leaving troubled situations in your life, drama, upset, negative connections, anything like that, leaving it behind and moving forward in a new positive direction, going to calmer waters. So that's really positive. I do like that energy. There is usually a saying with this card, travel to calmer waters, but leave the swords in the boat, don't take them onto your new land with you, so to speak, or leave them out of the boat. Don't take the swords with you. That usually means or represents leaving all your anxieties, your fears, your stresses, whatever's happened in the past behind. Don't take that baggage, whatever baggage it is, it's baggage basically. Don't take that into your new beginning or into your future, because this is a card of leaving behind what wasn't working in your life. It could be leaving an unhappy relationship, leaving traumatic situations in your life, leaving or letting go of. I say leaving, it's leaving or letting go of, releasing basically what was not serving you, what was not making you happy, what was causing you to become stuck in your life. It could even be pain or trauma that you've lived through in your life. This could even be connected down to childhood. And now you're finally ready to release that, to heal from it, and to move to calmer waters, to rebuild a life. And so when you say, don't take your swords with you or leave them in the boat, don't take them onto the shore with you, it's meaning don't take the baggage from the past with you. It's time to let that go. It's time to heal from that, to move on from it, and to look forward, live in the here and now, and move forward to a brighter future. Stop living in the past. Stop going back and overthinking, over reminiscing, over worrying about things that are beyond your control, things that are in the past, that are done now. It's time to let that go. So it has that meaning, but also has the meaning of moving forward to calmer waters, coming out of a negative situation, and things are going to start improving. You're going to start noticing positive improvements in your life. You're moving to a better time or better place within yourself and within your life. This card can also represent travel. Sometimes it depends on the surrounding cards. It can represent that the person you're reading for is going to be traveling soon, going on a journey, going on holiday, traveling abroad, traveling for work. So it can mean travel as well, or going on a journey, whether it's a symbolic journey, a spiritual journey, whether it's an actual physical journey. It's going on a journey of some sort, maybe ascending or working on their spiritual path, or maybe they're going through a life journey within themselves. So it can have quite a few different meanings. Again, it all depends on the person you're reading for, the surrounding cards. It'll give you more of an idea of what this card is trying to tell you. In the reverse position, this could mean that travel plans are put on hold. There could be delays with travel, issues when it comes to traveling. A person could expect there to be a lot of issues, a lot of delays, a lot of hiccups, feeling a bit stuck, feeling that they can't move forward in life, struggling to move to calmer waters. Every time they try and get their life back on track, or try to leave a negative situation in their life, or leave drama behind, it's like they can't get away from it. It's following them. This could be someone who's living too much in the past. They're not leaving their swords in the boat. They're not leaving their swords behind. They're living too much in the past, and this is affecting their present. It's affecting their future. Because of this, they're unable to move forward. They're unable to rebuild their life or heal from a situation, or heal from childhood trauma, because they're holding on to it. They could be holding on to a victim mindset, a lack mindset, instead of a survivor or abundant mindset. So they're holding on to a wrong mindset, and this is preventing them from moving forward in their life. It's keeping them stuck. It's keeping them stagnant. It's keeping them in depression, anxiety, stress. So it can have quite a few negative meanings in the reverse. Again, this does say a person is really clinging onto the past, or they're just really struggling to come out of a bad patch in their life. They're trying to get to the calmer waters. They want to get to calmer waters. They want this positive change, but it just seems so out of reach. Every time they just get to that point where they think, yes, finally life's looking up, things are improving, something comes along and pulls them back. It's like an ongoing battle in the reverse. Okay, we'll now look at the Seven of Swords. This is the card of lies, cheating, sneaky behavior, deceit, theft, robbery, trickery. It's one of the most horriblest energies for deceit and lies. This is usually a person who is deceitful. They're lying. They could be cheating, having affairs, a player. It's just not a very nice energy. No one likes to get the Seven of Swords. Usually this is someone who's stealing all the swords. From like there you can see that there's in that first card, there's people having a campfire, and that man's gone into their camp and he's stolen all the swords. There's someone else there, they're all stealing and theft and lies. So this could be that someone that you're reading for is dealing with deceitful people, people who are mean, nasty, deceitful, do not have their best intentions at heart. This could be a warning if this card comes up, to be mindful of the people that you associate with, to be mindful of a certain person, that they could be deceitful, they could be lying, there could be a lot of lies, a lot of secrets, a lot of things that are hidden. If it's a relationship reading, this could be that one of the partners is actually cheating and having affairs. It's just not a very nice energy. The Seven of Swords doesn't have to be just deceit or just lies or just trickery. It can also be a card of strategizing and planning, organizing. So again, it's always important to trust your intuition and look at the surrounding cards. Look at the cards that are surrounding the Seven of Swords, because that will give you more of an idea if this is talking about a really deceitful person, or if it's talking about someone who's just doing a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, and a lot of preparation work, because it can mean that as well. It could also mean there is secrets that are being kept and things are hidden, but it's actually not meant in a deceitful way. So it can be, on one hand, a very deceitful secrets like lying and cheating and sneaking around and theft. But on the other hand, again, it all depends on the surrounding cards. On the other hand, this could be a secret that's being kept that's actually really good. Like, for example, a partner wants to propose marriage to their partner. They would be keeping this a secret. So the Seven of Swords energy may come up because this person is keeping something hidden. It's a secret. And that secret is they're planning on proposing. Perhaps they're planning a romantic getaway, a romantic gesture, or planning the proposal. So they will be keeping this a secret from their partner, and that's why the Seven of Swords. So it doesn't have to always be something negative. Or someone could be planning a surprise birthday party or something really nice, or they're keeping a secret that's actually really positive and really good, that has no ill intention behind it. So the Seven of Swords doesn't always have to be a negative card. It just means things that are hidden, secrets. And again, it all depends on the surrounding cards. When the Seven of Swords comes in the reverse, it has the complete opposite meaning of the upright. This means that any lies, cheating, deceit, sneaky behavior, theft, anything like that is finally done. It's dusted. It's over with. If there has been a person that your client has been dealing with who has been sneaky, who has been lying, cheating, theft, thieving, whatever it is, this person would have been caught. Their lies would have been exposed. Their secrets would have come to light. If they've stolen something, they would get caught for stealing. It's like it's the end of that. Or it could be that a person finally steps up and says, look, they confess. They say, I've done this. I've been cheating. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And so it's all out in the open. There's no more secrets. There's no more lies. All lies have come to the surface. All secrets have been exposed. It's the end of that Seven of Swords energy. So it's very positive in the reverse position. This could also be if it was a nice secret, like a proposal or anything like that, or a surprise birthday party. Then this could be that finally the secret has come out. But now it's getting to the point where the person will propose, or the person will find out about the surprise party. So it is the complete opposite of the Seven of Swords in the reverse. It's the ending of that deceitful behavior. It's the ending of lies, trickery, whatever it is. It's the ending of things being hidden. Finally, things come to light. Things are exposed. And it all just comes out. So it is very positive in the reverse position. This card can also represent, when it's in the reverse, that if a person has been sneaky and deceitful, perhaps they're willing to change that now. They're wanting to not be in that energy anymore. They're finally saying, look, I have been in this energy and I choose not to be that anymore. I do not want to be a Seven of Swords. I'm going to tell the truth, and from now on, I'm going to be, if it's a partner, for example, from now on, I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be faithful. I'm not going to be cheating anymore. So it could have that real positive effect of someone who wants to change their life around and they want to do things differently. They don't want to be in that Seven of Swords energy anymore. If it's someone who does robberies, they could finally say one day, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to change my life around for the better. So it can have a really positive meaning. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card all about a person who feels trapped, they feel bound, they feel stuck in a prison. They feel like their hands are tied, they can't see things clearly, they don't know how to free themselves. They feel like they're trapped in a situation, trapped in an unhappy marriage or unhappy relationship, trapped in a dead-end job that's not going anywhere, trapped and stuck in life situations that just keep being traumatic, bringing them down, financial worries, debt, poverty. It's being stuck, bound and trapped, feeling like your hands are tied, feeling like you can't see the wood for the trees. You don't know how to free yourself. So it's really not a very nice energy. I usually call it the prison of swords, someone who's trapped in a prison of swords, because swords represent our minds. It's communication and truth, but it's also overthinking, overanalyzing, over-worrying, excessive overthinking. And usually with the Eight of Swords, it is also a card of a person who chooses to be in this energy, whether it's conscious or subconscious. This person can free themselves at any time. If you look at all these cards, like those second two, that's usually like the usual traditional prediction of the card. There's massive gaps between those swords. That person can easily step through the swords. There's such a big gap there, they can squeeze through that, they can easily free themselves. And the binds that are around their hands is so lightly, it's just gently, lightly placed around their hands, that they can easily free themselves, remove the mask and see the big gaps in the swords and realize they're not actually trapped. It's just their perception. They think they're trapped. They think there's no way out. They think there's no solution. But they are actually choosing to remain in this energy. They're keeping themselves stuck and trapped. It could be that they're resisting change. This person could fear change. Perhaps they don't want to change. They want to stay in their comfort zone. They're scared to leave their comfort zone. So they're keeping themselves trapped and stuck in an unhappy job, an unhappy relationship, an unhappy situation. They're refusing to make those changes because they're so afraid of coming out of their comfort zone, stepping out of their comfort zone. They're so afraid of making changes. So whether it's conscious or subconsciously, this person is choosing to remain in that prison of swords where they can easily free themselves, easily. And that is one of the biggest messages of the Eight of Swords. It's someone who feels trapped, they feel stuck, they feel bound, they feel like their hands are tied, they can't see a way forward, they don't know how to free themselves. But in truth, they're not actually trapped. It's only an illusion. If they looked really honestly at their situation, they'd realize that they are actually keeping themselves in that stuck energy, and they can free themselves at any time. And that's that main message of the Eight of Swords in the upright. We'll now look at the Eight of Swords in the reverse. The Eight of Swords in the reverse is the complete opposite of the Eight of Swords in the upright. This is someone who is now finally realizing that they can free themselves from whatever it is that they feel trapped and bound in. They finally removed that blindfold. They're looking at things honestly. They're looking at things clearly. And they're choosing to free themselves. They're choosing to come out of their comfort zone, to make necessary changes in their life, to do whatever it is that's necessary to free them, because they don't want to be trapped anymore. They don't want to be stuck and bound anymore. They want freedom. They're ready to make necessary changes in their life and to step out of their comfort zone, to take risks, to take a leap of faith. So it's a very beautiful, positive card in the reverse. It is, like I say, the complete opposite of the Eight of Swords in the upright. This is someone who is now choosing to free themselves and to become unstuck. If anyone has felt stuck and bound in a situation that was not good for them, or that made them really deeply unhappy, this person is now freeing themselves. Usually this is a person who is keeping themselves stuck, but then also a person who is finally freeing themselves. That's how you would usually read the Eight of Swords. But depending on the surrounding cards, it could be that there's a situation that is out of the person's control that is keeping them bound and trapped. And that situation is now finally shifting. It's changing. And this person will be free of whatever that situation was that was making them feel so stuck in life. Ongoing poverty and financial struggles that could have made them feel stuck and bound, an unhappy relationship, whatever it is, this person's finally ready now, from this card coming in the reverse, to free themselves from that. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Nine of Swords. This is a card all about overthinking, over-worrying, over-stressing, being so much up in your head to the point that you can't sleep. It's affecting your sleep. It's affecting your health. You can't eat. You can't sleep. You could be getting sick, and sick from worry, sick from stress and overthinking, high anxiety, high stress, depression, overthinking, over-analyzing. just being so much up in the head. If you look at all these cards, these people can't sleep. They're all in their beds. They can't sleep. They're up because they're up in their heads. All those swords on the walls, all the swords that you can see in the cards are representing, swords are our thoughts, representing them being so much up in their head. They can't think, they can't sleep, and it is really affecting the person's well-being. They could be struggling from night terrors, nightmares, stress dreams, over-worrying. This could be someone who's over-worrying about bills, unpaid bills, debt collectors turning up on their doorstep, because they can't pay their mortgage, losing their house. They could be really stressed about this. It could be someone who's stressing about a relationship, so much in their head. They could be having insecurities, trust issues, anxieties, to the point where they're up in their head so much it's causing more panic, more anxiety. People could be having panic attacks, stress, going through a very stressful situation. This could be someone taking exams, for example, and stressing so much about it. They have their exam the next day, and because they can't sleep, they're up all night worrying about the exam. They'll be too exhausted the next day to actually do and complete the exam, or to do their driving test, whatever it is. It's just someone who's really up in their head and overthinking. So if this card comes up, you know you're dealing with someone who's under a great deal of pressure, someone who could be overthinking a situation, someone who, this could be their own thoughts and anxieties. It could be from fears, insecurities that's eating away at them and causing unnecessary worry, unnecessary stress. Or this could be actual things in their life that they have every reason to worry and stress about, but it's just not a very nice energy. It can also represent insomnia and just going through not a nice time. Really, this is just not a nice energy. I don't really like this energy. It's a horrible energy, just full of worry, stress, strife, and struggle. The Nine of Swords in the reverse has the complete opposite meaning of the upright. This would say that the person has now finally dealt with whatever it is that was keeping them up at night, whatever was plaguing their mind. It's like a plague. It's whatever it was that was really consuming and eating at them, consuming their every thought and eating away at them. Whatever this is, that's finally over. It's finally done with. This person's dealing with it, or it will soon be over. This person can know that soon, or whatever this is, it's really been worrying and stressing them, is going to come to an end. They'll come out of confusion, out of anxiety, out of panic attacks, out of overstressing, over worrying. They're going to come out of this energy. They'll be able to sleep again. They won't be having stress dreams. Their health will improve. They won't be overthinking, over-analyzing, over-worrying to the point where it's just stressing them out beyond belief. So when this card comes in reverse, it's so good. It's like, wow, some relief is coming. Whether this person's going through that now, could be saying they've been through that and now they're coming out of it, or they will be coming out of it soon. But there's going to be a sense of calmness coming to this person. No more overstressing, no more over worrying, no more overthinking. This person could be taking control of their thoughts, or it could just be that life itself is improving. Whatever situation was causing this person all the stress, that's finally easing and coming to an end now. So this person can have a bit of a breathing space and is going to feel a lot better within themselves. And if it is something that this person's causing their own anxiety from panics or insecurities or trust issues, this person would have done the inner healing work. So I'm getting so tired now, it's really late, so I'm stuttering. But this person would have done that inner healing work, and they'll be coming out of that energy now. They're going to start feeling better, seeing things clearer, and just feeling better as a whole. So in the reverse position, it's a really positive, good card. Okay, so now move on to the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a card all about the ending of a troubled time, an ending of stress, drama, ending of pain. It's closing an old cycle of pain and hurt, and where a person may have felt betrayed and just been through a real bad time in their life. Because tens are always endings in the tarot. From a 10, we go into the ace. The tarot works up from ace to 10. That's a cycle. When we reach the 10, we close that chapter in our life, we close that cycle, and we step into a brand new beginning, which is the Ace of Swords. So this is the ending of a really bad patch. This could have been someone, for example, who was stuck in an abusive marriage for years and years and years, and was so deeply unhappy. And this marriage caused them to feel trapped and bound, feel stabbed in the back. It was so abusive. And then finally they're freeing themselves from that. It's the end of that marriage. It's the end of that very negative, painful situation. Finally they're free. They get a divorce. They get a separation. They're free from that situation that made them feel so bound, so trapped, and in so much pain and turmoil. It could be financial poverty. Someone could have been going through some real financial struggles and poverty, and this could have been ongoing for years and years, and finally they're coming out of that. This could just be a situation that's been going on for 6 months, a year, but it's the ending of that. Usually this also predicts someone who feels stabbed in the back. They feel hurt and betrayed by others, and it's the ending. They can finally say that that cycle's closing, and they're going to step into something so much better. It's a new beginning awaiting them. It's like the chapters of a book. Each chapter in the book is a different cycle. It's like an ace to a 10. And when you get to the 10, you step into the ace, which is the next chapter of the book. And that's how we read the 10s in tarot. This is definitely a cycle that's ending of someone who's been dealing with a very traumatic situation. That's been very stressful. It's made them feel trapped. It's made them feel stuck. It's made them feel stabbed in the back, whether it's by other people, by life itself. And that's finally coming to an end when you get the 10 of Swords. It's not a very nice energy. It could be that the person is still going through this at this time. They're going through a very painful time in their life, going through very traumatic experiences. They could be feeling that 10 of Swords energy, feeling really stabbed by life, stabbed in the back by people, feeling bound and trapped. But the good news is they will come out of it soon. It's not going to last forever. The 10 of Swords in the reverse could mean that the cycle is still ongoing. It's not quite the end just yet. The end is in sight. They're at the last leg of it. There may just be a bit longer that this person may have to wait for the cycle to close. There could be some more karmic lessons that need to be learned, some more things that need to be dealt with and tied up before the cycle can actually end. It's not at the ending point yet. So they may have to wait a little bit longer. On the plus side, it does mean that this person should start to feel better soon, because the cycle is going to end soon. It's just a few more things that need dealing with, but those swords will be removed from their back. They will feel like they're not trapped anymore, and they are going to start coming out of that energy. It just may be a few minor delays. So this is how I read the 10 of Swords in the upright and the reverse. Or it could be, depending on the surrounding cards, that a person is refusing to leave a situation that's unhealthy for them, that's causing them all this pain and this grief. They're choosing to remain in this energy, which is causing a stagnation. It's causing them to not close a cycle, not to move forward. For example, it could be if someone is stuck in an abusive marriage in the upright position, this card would mean that this person's finally ready to walk away, to leave that abusive marriage, to free themselves from that traumatic relationship. But in the reverse, it would mean that this person's not taking those necessary steps to leave that situation, so they'll remain in a very unhappy and unhealthy situation, remain in this abusive relationship. That's just an example, which will obviously delay the inevitable, delay this new cycle that's waiting to come in. So it can be read in different ways. Again, it's all depending on the person you're reading for and the surrounding cards. Next, we'll look at the Page of Swords. All pages in the tarot are messengers. These are the messengers, the pages and the knights. They bear messages and news, and it goes up in height of rank. So a page is like a childlike energy, baby energy, young energy. Then you get the knights, which is a bit better. It's a step up from the page, and the king and queen. They are the big, the good, solid, grounded energies. With the Page of Swords, this is my spying card. It's someone who's spying on someone. Not in a negative or bad way. This is usually just someone who may have a crush on someone, or they may be in love with someone, and so they watching a lot of tarot readings about them, checking their social media, keep reading their messages over and over again, keep looking at their photos. Just like not spying as in a negative stalkering kind of way, but more just spying on them in a good way, because they care, because they have feelings for a person, or they've got a crush, could be anything like that. This is also a card all about receiving communication, receiving messages, and maybe just light, small communication, like would you like to meet up for a drink if it's romantic, or would you like to go on a date, or just chatting, small talk, having small communication. We're just receiving a message like a hi, how are you, hope you're okay, that kind of thing. It could be a lot of communication going back and forth, but it's just small talk. It's keeping things light, playful, fun, friendly, nothing serious. If you're hoping for a relationship, never go with the page, because the page will only be breadcrumbing you. They'll never give you anything really good. That's sort of my one night stand card, flings, benefits, things like that. Relationships that just don't have any promise for growth. It's that real page energy. So you could receive a message, but it would just be communication or messages coming in that is very light, very playful, keeping it friendly, small talk. How are you? How's your day? Would you like to go out for a drink sometime? I'm up for a bit of fun, not anything serious. It's that kind of energy, and also the energy of someone who is spying on someone. Look at their social media, keep looking at their photos, rereading messages over and over again, maybe trying to find out more information about a specific person. And that's not in a negative stalking kind of way. That's more just in a, they care about a person, keeping an eye on them, or just having a major crush and just keeping a look, seeing what a person's up to. Are they with anyone else? Are they in a relationship? Are they single? It's that innocent sort of spying. The Page of Swords in the reverse, with the spying thing, this is more, if I got this in a reading, how I would interpret this is someone who could be stalking, and in a not very innocent way. When the upright, it's just someone spying on someone because they have a crush on them, or they want to find out more about them, or they're protective of the person. But in the reverse, this is like stalker, where you should get a bit worried, and it's in an unhealthy way. To me, again, the Page of Swords depends on the reading you're doing and the surrounding cards. Again, that's very important to always take that into account. To me, again, this in the reverse could represent that a person is being stalked. It could be by their ex-partner who does not have good intentions, or it could be anyone who's stalking them, someone watching their every move, watching what they're doing. Someone could be jealous of them. It's just not very nice energy. It's not a very nice stalking energy. If it is stalking, again, you have to look at the surrounding cards and what your intuition tells you and the energy of the person you're reading for. Another meaning for this card being the reverse, it could just be the communication is delayed. You could be waiting to receive a message or receive news of some kind, or a message, and there's delays in communication, there's delays in this message coming, delays in receiving this news. This could also be someone who's on a break and their partner's just not communicating at this time. It could also be ghosting, where someone's ghosting you. You reply, you send them a message, and you don't hear from them for weeks and weeks on end. It's that sort of energy. So it's not the greatest energy in the reverse, the Page of Swords, but that's how I read the Page of Swords in reverse. But it is basically the complete opposite of the Page of Swords in the upright position. So delays in communication, not Also, not having clear communication. It could be misinterpretations, people misreading things. There being communication, but things are misread, and this could always cause arguments and upsets and delays. It's also stalking, but in a not very nice way. So it's not the greatest energy in the reverse. We'll now move on to the Knight. This is a step up from a page. So if you're hoping for a relationship, this is a good one. This is someone who wants to take it slow, but at the same time, they, want to keep things fun and playful, but they do, or shall I say, they are open to taking the relationship further if they feel the need to. So they're open to, my mind's going blank, I'm so tired. I'm sorry, it's really late at night. They're open to progressing the relationship further, if that's if you're looking for a partner. But again, it's a messenger. It's all about messages, receiving news. This is news or messages that come in very quickly. This is one of the fastest moving Knights. It is the fastest, well, this one and the Knight of Wands are the two fastest moving Knights. This is the Knight that receives or sends messages very quickly. So you can expect to receive a lot of communication that comes in very quickly. This Knight is usually a bit reckless. They don't think before they act. They just go. Say they have an example is this person could have an idea, and instead of thinking things through, rationalizing it first, trying to get all the answers or clarity on it, they just go full steam ahead, and they could end up going full steam ahead into a complete disaster because they're not thinking things through. They just rush ahead. But they have a lot of passion. They have a lot of passion, a lot of drive. When they want something, they go after it full steam. So it has a good positive effect in that sense. But in the negative sense, it can get them into trouble. So if you're reading for someone who could be saying, well, you overdoing things, you're rushing before thinking, it could be that this person needs to take a step back and read the small print. For example, if they're signing legal contracts and stuff, instead of just rushing to get the job done, or if they're trying to do something, they could be rushing. They just want to get it done as soon as possible, and it just gets all messed up. So they need to just take their time, take a step back, and not try and rush the process. But in another sense, with communication, this is a lot of communication coming in very quickly and very fast. If you're waiting to receive news on something, test results, or just important news, when this card shows up, it means that expect that news to come in very quickly. You could even receive results sooner than predicted, sooner than expected. It's just having fast-moving communication. It could also be a bit of aggressive energy. Sometimes the Knight of Swords can be a bit aggressive. It could be some arguments and fights happening that's very sudden, very aggressive. You could be dealing with a person who's a bit aggressive, but like a bull in a china shop. They come in and they're like, yak, 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 and they just give it their all. They start shouting the odds, and you're thinking, what? That's a real Knight of Swords energy. Someone who just really talks the talk and just comes in very quickly, very aggressive. It's like they're fighting a battle, and you just have to say, whoa, whoa, take a step back. You need to calm. Could be someone who's struggling with anger issues, and they need to deal with these anger issues. So they could fly off the handle very quickly. It could be communication that comes in that's either very good and very positive, and it's what you want to hear, and it happens very quickly, or it could be quite aggressive communication that comes in with someone who's just wanting a fight. So it can work both ways. In the reverse, this could mean delays in communication, stagnation, ghosting, messages taking forever to come through, waiting on news, and it just feels like this news is never going to come in. If you have been dealing with someone who's been aggressive and bolshy and just flying off the handle with anger issues, you'll either be not dealing with this person anymore, or this person would calm things down. They will not be so aggressive, not be so angry and bolshy anymore, and peace will be restored to that situation. This could also be that a person's finally realizing they can't just rush forward and make rash decisions and rush into things. They need to take that step back, read the small print, do things properly. look at all their options, look at all angles, and they're realizing this now, and they're taking that time out to slow down. This could also be someone who is slowing down instead of being so busy, so stressed, so anxious. They're taking that time out to rest. But it is delays in communication, stagnation in communication, and news, waiting on news, and just it's taking forever to come in. So it all depends on the person you're reading for, the surrounding cards, their energy, what your intuition is telling you, to interpret what the Knight of Swords in the reverse means. But it basically is the complete opposite of the Knight of Swords in the upright position, coming out of stagnation, or not coming out of stagnation, things being stagnant, things not moving forward, taking forever to receive results, messages not coming through. But in the positive sense, if you were dealing with someone who was aggressive, that energy will be passing. Okay, so we'll now look at the Queen of Swords. One thing I forgot to mention. I am so sorry. I'm trying to get this recorded tonight, and I'm so exhausted because it's very late. But I forgot to mention that with the court cards, which is the pages, the knights, the kings, and the queens, they are all what I would represent as the air sign. It's Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And a lot of readers will read all the sword cards as air signs. So if they're doing a reading, if there's a lot of sword cards on the table, they would say you're dealing with an air sign. But to me, my personal way, because we're all different, we all have our own way. There's no right or wrong way. It's just we're all different as readers. My personal approach is I will read only the court cards as actual people in a reading. And not just the court cards, but also with the major arcana. There's certain cards that are the major arcana for specific star signs in the major arcana cards. So I'll use them and the court cards in this minor arcana as actual people. So for me, the pages, the knights, the kings, and the queens of swords would represent air, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Okay, so I'm glad I put that through there. Excuse me. So the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is a very fair queen. She's very fair. She thinks with logic. She's very logical, thinks logically. She doesn't make decisions and choices going on what her heart tells her or what her head tells her, but more from a logical viewpoint. So she's very fair. She's not biased in any way. She doesn't let her heart rule the choices and the decisions she makes. She doesn't let her head and her overthinking thoughts rule the decisions and the choices she makes. She goes by logic and her intuition. She's very fair, the most fairest queen. She's just, she's fair, and she cuts through the bull. If anyone's trying to pull the wool over her eyes, she'll suss it out straight away. She doesn't take any nonsense. She'll see through lies and deceit and trickery, and she sees right through it, and she puts a stop to it. She uses that sword to cut out all trickery, all lies, all deceit, anything that's not of her highest good or the highest good of her life and those around her. She's very fair, she's very just, she's very to the point. She uses that sword to remove negativity from her life. She can come across as quite cold because she's not so much in her emotions. She's very logical, but she may come across as cold and detached and aloof, where deep down beneath the surface there's a lot of emotion, and she's quite sensitive, very sensitive deep down within. But she is definitely a very fair queen. And she's a leader, a proper leader of the pack. It's almost like the King and Queen of Swords are like the law almost. So I always see them as like the police force, the law. They keep things in order. They don't like things to be out of order. They want things to be just and fair. And they don't take no prisoners, really. No one can pull the wool over their eyes. The Queen of Swords speaks her truth. She will give you truthful, honest communication. She keeps things clear and to the point, and she doesn't get all emotional about whatever situation that she's dealing with at that time. The Queen of Swords in the reverse is the complete opposite of the Queen of Swords in the upright. The Queen of Swords in the reverse can be nasty, cold, manipulative, conniving. She cuts people with that sword, but in a very negative way. She could trample over anyone to get what she wants in life. She doesn't care who she hurts or what damage she does. She just goes in there. She's not very honest, not very truthful, can be quite spiteful, hurtful. She can have a sharp tongue and say some really hurtful, cutting things. Very cold, icy cold queen, almost like the evil stepmother from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That sort of real, not a very nice energy. You do not want to mess with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This could be a very manipulative person, an abusive person, a nasty person, a narcissist, someone who's out to hurt and cause pain. They're not truthful. You can't trust a word that comes out their mouth. They could lie through their teeth, be a compulsive liar. In the reverse, it's just not a nice energy at all. They're not fair. They mistreat people, mistreat situations. They could be very deceitful, very tricky, very sneaky, and they have a very spiteful tongue in the reverse. So if you're reading for a client and this card comes up, again, it's all dependent on the cards that surround it and what your intuition tells you and the person you're reading for. It could be that your client is dealing with someone like this. They could be dealing with a person who is bullying them, abusing them, or treating them badly, someone who's not being very fair, someone who's causing a lot of trouble and pain and hardship for your client. And that's how you could probably interpret the Queen of Swords in reverse if it comes up in the reverse. The King of Swords, again, this would be air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. All the pages, the Knights, the Queen and the King of Swords is all the air signs. This represents an air sign if I'm doing a reading. This King is exactly the same as the Queen, all the same qualities in the upright position. Someone who's very fair, very logical, very analytical. They make fair judgments. The leaders, a very strong sense of authority with them. So you think of police officer or the law, a judge. They're very fair. They make fair and just situations, decisions. They speak their truth. They speak truthfully. They cut through all the bull. They can see if someone's trying to pull the wool over their eye, and they will not tolerate that. They don't think with their heart. They're not all in their heart and in their emotions, or not too much up in their head. They think and see things logically, and they make decisions based on a logical, what's logical. They're not biased at all. They're very fair. And yeah, so it's basically the Queen of Swords. All the qualities and attributes of the Queen of Swords is the same as the King of Swords. Very, very similar. They're very good at public speaking. They communicate clearly. They don't have any misunderstandings. They see things clearly. They see things what it is. They're very intellectual, very independent, and they're very reliable. The King and Queen of Swords, or the King of Swords, is someone who's very reliable, very loyal, very faithful, very fair. That's one of the main things. And they communicate very fairly, and they have a strong energy about them that's very of authority, an energy of authority. The King of Swords in the reverse is just like the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Could be a manipulative person, someone who's nasty, someone who misuses their power. They could be high up in power and they misuse their power for their own gains. They do not put other people's feelings first. It's all about them. They could be very manipulative, narcissistic. They use their sword to really cut things through in their life. They don't care who they hurt to get to where they want to be in life. They'll trample over anybody. Very nasty, nasty tongue. Very hurtful, spiteful, a bully. Just not very nice. Someone who is unfair. They bias. They take sides. And yeah, it's basically not the Queen of Swords in the reverse. The sword energy in reverse is not very nice, not the King and the Queen. So yeah, that's it. We've sort of come to the end of this now. So basically the King of Swords is like the Queen of Swords in the reverse. We've come to the end of this lesson. I'm so sorry for how stuttery I got towards the end there. I was absolutely exhausted. It's after midnight at the moment and I'm just shattered. So all I have left now to record is the Pentacle cards, which will be a little tarot lesson on the Pentacle cards. Again, please do keep in mind that this is my own interpretations of the tarot. This is how I read the tarot. All readers have their own personal way of reading because the tarot has its set standard traditional meanings, which I've chucked a bit of them in there. But then we all, as a reader, we also take on our own personal way of interpreting each card. And so I've shared with you my interpretations of these cards. I hope that you found this to be helpful. I hope this will help you to read tarot yourself and provide readings for others. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please do like, share, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.